I got kind of a fun one today. The other day I said something that got me to thinking. I wonder really what the difference between this one and this brand new Garmin really is. So today, that's better. Okay, so yeah, I just thought it'd be kind of fun to mount them both up in the car, take them to my breakfast joint. I'm going to go up north, I mean, might as well. And just try them out. Show you the differences and the similarities between the two, because I'll tell you what, they're a whole lot more alike than one would think. Now I got the Magellan, it's a Roadmate 300. I got this back in, I'm wanting to say 2004. And it was already a couple years old then. So this is a legit 20-year-old GPS. Very rudimentary, very basic. It's a chunky boy there. So it's a little bit difficult to use, but the functionaries of it are the same, and you'll see that when I get it in the car. The Garmin Drive 52, like we talked about earlier, is awfully skinny. It's a whole lot more compact, but it's still pretty cool. I don't like them any bigger than this, honestly. Focus. There we are. But as we saw in the last one, it did pretty good, so I am really curious on how they stack up against one another. Now, first of all, the Garmin Drive has all the updated maps. This is, no. This was outdated when it was new. So, that's going to be kind of interesting. So we'll have to take that into account. But all the interstates are still the same, and all the main surface streets are still the same, especially around here. So we should be all right there. But let me go out and I'll get the car fired up and get the windshield warmed up. It's kind of cold today. That's why we're doing indoor stuff. So let's get to it. So I've got everything in. I don't know how well this is going to hang out, but this could be a fire. I might have to mount this down on this box here. It's not wanting to cooperate all that well, but let's get these things going. So we're going up to Park City, the home of BTK, and I'm going to get these fired up. We're going to 425 what is that? West North 61st Street or something like that. I'll have to look. So on this, I have to select an address. Sometimes the push thing works. Alright, so we hit street address. It works better with the stylus. We have to spell street. So the street would be space. Let's go back to ABC. I'm not kidding. This is a real pain.
T.
Okay.
P. I.
Nope. That town doesn't exist anymore.
A. R. K.
Whoop.
Space. C.
Yeah, it's a pain. So now we got that. And now we have to put in the yeah.
4. 6.
I think that was it. Sorry about that. That took way too long. So now it gives you some ideas. So now that we got that one, let's do the other one. Where to? Address. Say 425. Done. East 61st Street. Let's see. Enter city. P-A-R. Park City. Done. And there we go. So we've got both of them going and the dash cam. So one's 28 miles, one's 27 miles, so let's see what happens. Now, surprisingly, the old one hooked up a whole lot faster than it normally does. There's times this one's taken 3 to 4 minutes to get all set up.
Right turn to the end of the followed street, by a left turn. Right.
Well, that's going to be irritating. They're both talking to me, so let's get up to this and see what happens.
East Ross Avenue, then take the second left.
So it's a high and low for left and a low and high for right with the old one. The new one just tells you what to do. First thing you'd notice on this is the older one is a little more choppy, but that just has to do with the technology. It's got a whole lot more, it's actually more colorful, which I find interesting, and has a whole lot more voices, but the new one actually is a lot cleaner and nicer to look at. Part of the problem with loading up on the old GPS is that it's a lot more technical. There's you really have to be very precise in your addresses, and it has to be loaded up in a particular order. Unlike the software in the new one, where it will basically give you prompts and help you along. Don't get me wrong, while the maps are pretty much the same, in fact at this point they're identical. They're like night and day, honestly. It's the new one's a whole lot more user friendly, and that's good. So let me turn my lights on. We're getting into the fog, so I think I'll hang this up and we'll drive a little. Got the fog starting to roll in. We have that cool air coming in from Canada, and it's hitting that warm air coming up from Texas. So it was 71 degrees 2 days ago, and it's going to be 20 degrees tomorrow. So hey, can't really complain. It's almost January. One of the differences between these two right now is this one gives you the speed and your speed, and this one does not. But they all pretty much, other than that, give you the same amount of information. Now they both want me to turn. I'm going to go straight and see what happens.
Right turn in 1 mile.
No, that's not bad. It's trying to, they're both trying to get me to turn at the next stoplight. Both seem to be holding their own today.
Right turn
so
in 0.5 miles.
Yeah, but we're not going to turn right there either. So this is interesting. This one, the old one's got me going all the way up to US 400, and this one's got me turning up on Pawnee, and so we were going to go up to 400 anyways, but this has been kind of the first discrepancy between the two. This really is the better route, but this is getting me closer to the original route. Of course, when the Magellan came out, Pawnee wasn't a paved road, it was still a dirt road. So that's kind of something like I talked about. Sometimes you have to know what things were. The new Garmin, it actually has been updated since this was a paved road. So that's kind of interesting. It's telling me to get on,
right turn in 0.5 miles.
It wants me on road. What it's doing is routing me to the access road, which I'm not understanding. The old one, on point. They're both back to being synced up now. Hell or high water, that new GPS was going to put me back to the original route. So that's kind of funny. Got all the new Fords out there today. I saw one of those new Broncos. That's just a Ford Escape with a lot of built-in disappointment. I'll admit, that's got an amazing split screen. That's just it. Got up here on the bypass, and these two are suddenly completely in sync. I really have to apologize for the glare, but it's about the best I can do here. But yeah, they're both running great.
Exit on the right in 1.1 miles.
Typical. I got two females yelling at me, trying to get me to do different things, which essentially they're the same thing.
To 61st Street, then take the first left.
So there's our destination. Now that we stopped, this one went right back to the select destination screen, and this one says it's ready to navigate. I guess once you're there, they just reset back to 0. This place is behind that crappy excuse for a truck stop in Park City. You just got to go across the bridge over the big ditch, and it's off here. It's been pretty good in the past, but I haven't been here for about 4 years, so let's see if it's still good. That being said, the GPS's, the maps part of it, not anything's really changed. I cannot update the old Magellan. What's in there is in there. I probably could find something if I really looked hard enough, but it's not worth it. GPSs are cheap these days, and they're cheap because Google Maps and your cell phones have completely made GPSs antiquated. But as you saw, the new GPS was refined, and it was refined really nicely. It made it very user-friendly. You have to remember something. Back in 1990s, 2000s, when that GPS came out, that was very expensive. That was high-tech. That was several $100s. They were not cheap. They were not cheap at all. And you still had to hook them up to your home PC and load the software in it. This was $100, the new one, and it does 25 more things better. Well, actually, it does everything that the old one does. It just does it better. It's more user-friendly. It's more refined. But truthfully, in a few years, that one will go out of date too. So it's just kind of hit and miss. I mean, the new Garmin, I love the split screen. That's great. I actually really like that. But you could get around using them both. But like I said, technology's come to the point where everything's either built into your car, people are using their phones. And in semi-trucks, you really can't do anything unless you get a trucker GPS. And truthfully, with the e-logs these days, you can get them built into the e-log now. And that just makes it so much nicer. I actually, that's what I do. That way I don't have anything in my windshield. And that's another thing. Things mounted in your windshield have a tendency to attract police officers. I had 3 things mounted in my windshield, and it looked like 2 bricks and a camera. The camera's all right because it's up above the view and it's behind the mirror, so I really wouldn't get in any real trouble for that. The old Garmin, absolutely. There was no way I could really mount that on such a small windshield like this. You can, but it'd have to be a little further over and all that. The new Garmin, with it being slim and smaller in a case, the screen was actually bigger. It actually, you could sit it lower on the dash and out of your line of sight. But, you know, that's one of the things that police officers are ticketing people for now, is things stuck in their windshields, limiting their field of view. And so I know in Indiana, one of the technical things that they've been getting a lot of truck drivers on is if it's in the path of your windshield wipers, it's a ticket. Something to keep in mind. But that being said, this was just a fun video. What did we learn? Newer is better when it comes to GPSs. But they're still outdated. It's amazing that the Garmin 52 is right out of the box. Has a lot of great features, but it's already past tense. So it's just something fun to play with, and they do have their purpose, like I stated in another video. But as you saw with the old one, if you go to a garage sale or you go to the Goodwill and pick one up for $5, it's going to do the same thing that any other GPS would do. So just food for thought. Anyhow, this is just a fun video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you like, share, subscribe, do all that other stuff, and I appreciate it. We'll catch you next video. It's all right. Ooh, bar's open.